What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Sunday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and we are back after a 4-0 Sunday. Swept the board. Winning Sunday. Winning week, thanks to it, as well as we take down both NBA player props. I'll explain more on those here in just 1 second. Indiana wins the game outright. Rutgers blows out USC in the second half to easily cover the 3.5. 4-0 day, up 3 units. That's for the guy in the comment section who said to me, why don't you ever sweep your plays? Like it's simple to do that. I don't know. Why don't you post your plays and you sweep the plays? It's not easy to do that, but I'll take a 4-0 day though. I'll take that. I'll take the 3, up 3 units as well. Now, hopefully you guys got a chance to watch yesterday's podcast. If you didn't, go back and watch it because you'll have a chance to see how I got to the 2 NBA player props. I'm not going to do that today, although I did use the same process to get to the 2 NBA player props I'm going to give you guys here today. All right? You guys like them. They're profitable. I've done fairly well with NBA player props. I've done fairly well with NFL player props. So we'll continue to bet that and continue to use the BettingPros Premium. And there could be some news on an offer for Daily Juice listeners coming down the pike in the very near future. So stay tuned on that. But the process in which I use to get to these bets, I think you can do it, or anyone can do it for that matter, because it's simply about being able to take information, diagnose information, make a decision, and then a bet off that information that you have at your disposal. So it's different than I'm really, really anti-selling picks. If you've listened to this podcast for any period of time, you know how I feel about paying people for their picks. It doesn't work in the long run. It's a race to the bottom, and far often you're adding on, if you're buying a bet from the sports book at $110 for $100, to win $100, now you're playing minus 120 or minus 130 or minus 140 based on how much money you are paying for that pick. So it's already difficult enough to win. So that's why I am very much anti-buying picks, and thus I'm anti-putting anything that I do behind a paywall, because I don't believe anyone should buy picks, my picks or anyone's picks. So I understand the idea that someone's time is valuable. And if you sell picks and you're honest about it and you're upfront about your process and who you are, that your time is valuable. So to put the time in, you want people to compensate you for that. But for what? For 55%, 58%? I mean, the best gamblers in the world are going 58%. Like you got to play everything all the time. And they're still going to lose 42% of the time. Like, think about that. Best of the best, the most expensive, are still going to lose 42% of the time. So that's my personal belief, and that's just the way that I have done content. But this is different because I think when you're subscribing to BettingPros Premium, you guys are doing the work, not really me. You're going to look at the data. You're going to look at the trends. You're going to look at what the projections are, and you're going to make your own opinions. And that, I think, is fascinating because I can do, and this will be a free podcast, and you can take the bets I play, listen, and move on. Say, Matt, I don't have time I got 3 kids. I got a full-time job. I got a marriage. I can't worry about this stuff. I don't have time. Plenty of you guys are out there like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll keep on giving you the plays. I'll do the work, and you guys can just listen, fade, follow, whatever you want with my plays. Just be part of the Daily Juice community. I'm thankful for your time just for the 10 to 15 minutes I've got you on the way to the office, on the way to drop off for school, wherever you're listening or watching. But for others, for some of you who have extra time, who are really interested in becoming better at gambling, who want the information, that's where the BettingPros Premium subscription comes in. And you can find all that data that I showed you yesterday on the podcast, that led to a 2-0 mark for the props. And you also can go and find different systems and trends, and they like the Sunday session idea. The BettingPros folks liked the Sunday session idea. So that's probably going to be a thing. Next Sunday, we'll tackle systems, and I'll show you some of the systems that I use and some of the systems that have been historically very profitable. using the BettingPros app that you then can go find for college basketball and find a play or two that works for you. So it's all about personal taste, and you can build your own systems too. I mean, first I'll show you the systems. Next, after that, I'll teach you how to build a system, and you can have your own system. So we'll do a Sunday session series here in the month of February, March, and April, getting ready for football next year. So you guys can work on it over the summer. We can do stuff for baseball and have it be ready to go. So 4-0 is 4-0. We'll take it every single time. Winning week for us here last week as we start a new week here today. Before I give you the picks today, let's tell you about our friends at Bet365. Their offer is still available right now for Daily Juice listeners. If you guys want to take advantage of what Bet365 has got available for you, it's pretty simple. You're going to log on to bettingpros.com/365. Now you're going to go and deposit $5 or $10, turn $5 into $150, of bonus bets when you join Bet365. So go to bettingpros.com/365, deposit at least $10. When you place a bet of at least $5, you'll earn $150 in bonus bets. That's bettingpros.com/365. 21 plus only. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-BETS-OFF if you live in Iowa. Terms and conditions do apply. Sorry about that. I was looking for the read and I couldn't find the read. It had gone somewhere off the screen. Let's talk about 2 NBA player props. I normally do NBA player props on the Betting Pros app. I will go back to doing that, but for last night, tonight, for Sunday, Monday, I'm going to give you the prop bets ahead of time. We'll go back putting on the NBA prop bets later on the Betting Pros app later in this week. But for tonight, let's talk first about Lonzo Ball. Points, assists, and rebounds. 19.5 is the current number for Lonzo Ball against Philadelphia with the Chicago Bulls. 19.5 points, assists, and rebounds. Didn't come close to hitting it in the last game against Phoenix. He did hit it, got 22 against the Knicks on the road in the last road game, but that snapped a stretch of 4 straight games in which he was way under 19.5. 12, 19, 13, and 16 for points, rebounds, and assists. In fact, 12 of the last 15 games for Lonzo Ball with the Bulls, he has been under 19.5 points, assists, and rebounds. When the Bulls have played when the Bulls have played the Sixers 2 times this year, 15 and 17, both unders for Lonzo Ball. We're going to play under 19.5 points, assists, and rebounds for Lonzo Ball. I told you yesterday, it's not just like yesterday was just 2 points bets, Drew Holiday got over 7.5 or 8.5 points in the first 7 minutes. He took 4 shots. He hit all 4. That was the easiest walk to the window bet ever from a prop bet perspective. Holiday was simple. We're betting 2 unders today, okay? We had to sweat it out until the end with Jimmy Butler under 20.5 points. That number closed at 21.5 points for Jimmy Butler. Scored 18. The blowout helped, obviously, but it went under. This, you're always winning a bet until you lose a bet when it comes to an under. When you play an over, you're always losing the bet until you get over. It's why it hurts more when an under misses, because you're winning for a long period of time, and then at the end of the game, you lose. It stinks. You're always losing an over bet until the end, and then it goes over. So when it goes over very fast in the first quarter, in the first 7 minutes, it feels awesome. No sweat, easy peasy. This is an under. Lonzo Ball under 19.5 points, assists, and rebounds for the Bulls tonight against the Sixers. The next play is going to be interesting because 13.5 rebounds for Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz is an interesting number. 50% of the time, 8 of 15, this has gone under 13.5. But the number hasn't been this high for pretty much the whole season. Why? Because this guy is 30-14 to the over on his rebounding props. He's a center for the Utah Jazz at home against the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland is a middle-of-the-pack rebounding team. Utah, thanks to Kessler, is one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. The projection here for the rebounds is under 12 for Walker Kessler. 13.5. Most times the number has been 12.5 or lower for Walker Kessler. He went over against Houston, over against OKC, went under both games against the Lakers, went over against Phoenix, over against Golden State, under against Indianapolis. In both games this season, in both games this season against Portland, both on the road, the number was 11.5. He went over both those games on the road against Portland. So 100% of the time this year, this number has hit for Walker Kessler. But the prop bet cheat sheet likes this under. The projection is under 12 for this. And the value for this, it's a 5-star play with a very good EV. It's the second highest expected value prop on the board tonight. Why? Because Walker Kessler normally isn't 13.5. That's the difference. 13.5 is a lot. That's a high number. But he's had 17, 19, 8, 12, 22, 18 in his last 5 games. So you could go, Matt, hold on a second. Well, last 6 games, over the last 6 games. So he's 4-2 to the over. And when he's gone over 13.5, he's flown over 17, 19, 22, and 18. So we're going to know pretty fast if Walker Kessler is going to hit this or not. If he has like 8 rebounds, 9 rebounds in the first half, we're dead. Okay? So we're hoping for either a blowout or he gets into foul trouble or just trusting what the numbers and the projection will be. Sometimes you do analysis and you just got to go, all right, let's see if the math is right. Let's see if the algorithm is right. It's not always right, but again, it's the second best bet on the board according to the prop bet cheat sheet on bettingpros.com. So I'm going to trust it here. Why not? We won 2 bets yesterday trusting it, even though the numbers look to be like, are you sure you want to bet under? Yep, under 13.5 rebounds for Walker Kessler for 1.1 units. All right, let's talk college basketball. 2 games I want to talk about tonight. Michigan's at Nebraska. This number is 1. This number is either a pick or 1. It's offshore at a pick. Onshore, it's 1. Total is 150.5. Nebraska is 6-7 ATS at home this year. Michigan is 6-7 on the road this year. Michigan's 5-10 ATS in the Big Ten. Nebraska is 8-8. Nebraska's got a pretty good resume. And Nebraska feels like they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. But there's no guarantee that Nebraska is going to be an NCAA tournament team. This is a 1-point win according to KenPom. So we're right there. We're at a coin flip. But Nebraska at home this year has been decent. They're coming off of a home loss to Maryland, 83-75. But they beat Ohio State at home. They beat Illinois at home. They beat UCLA at home. Now, they lost to Rutgers at home, and they lost to USC at home. We just watched Rutgers beat up on USC. Both those teams, look, Rutgers wants to get in the tournament. I don't think they're going to be able to or not. USC won't be in the tournament. USC is probably not going to make the Big Ten tournament, let alone the NCAA tournament. But these home games, Michigan and Minnesota, 7-9 Nebraska, these are must-win games. These are backs against the wall type games. These are games the Huskers simply have to have, and it's a short number for a team at home that has been somewhat decent against the number. They're coming off of a 17-point loss on the road at Penn State. This is kind of fits my model here. You're on the road, you lose, you come back home, short favorite or a dog at home in a must-win situation. Teams tend to really rally. Michigan's coming off of a really poor performance in the second half against Michigan State at home. Now they got to go on the road here. It snapped a 6-game winning streak for Dusty May's team. I think they're going to be up against it here, and their schedule is not easy. They play on the road against Nebraska. They play Rutgers at home, Illinois at home, Maryland at home, and then Michigan State on the road. Not great. They're 12-3. trying to keep pace in the Big Ten for the regular season championship. Michigan State's got the lead, obviously, in this after the head-to-head win. I just think Nebraska's got an opportunity here to use that home crowd at Pinnacle Arena and really put some defensive pressure on Michigan. Nebraska's 44th in efficiency. They're only 152nd in effective field goal percentage, which has been a big question mark for them, but they've played better at times. They don't shoot the three all that well, but they do get after it on the 2-point. They're 70th in 2-point shooting. They shoot free throws well enough, not great, but well enough. This is just a team at home in a must-win situation. I'll lay the 1 point with Nebraska, -1 for 1.1 units. I know if you know me for a long time, you're like, Matt's betting Nebraska? Yeah, I'm betting Nebraska. Just one of those days. And then finally, we're going North Carolina and Florida State. I can't tell you how down I am on North Carolina, and I can't believe they're favored on the road. I mean, they're coming off of 2 wins against 2 bad teams. Carolina won by 24 against NC State, and they won by 15 against Virginia. They covered in both of those games. That snapped a streak of 8 straight games in which the Tar Heels did not cover. On the road against Louisville, Florida State lost by 8 as 13.5-point dogs. They won by 8, laying 8.5 against Miami at home in their last home game. They got killed against Clemson by 26 points in the home game before that. But Notre Dame at home, they were laying 3. They won the game outright by 7. At home this year, they're 9-5 at home, Florida State. And this place in Tallahassee, I've been there. This is a house of horrors for Duke and North Carolina. They hate playing in Tallahassee. They hate playing in this building. It's not easy to play. It's cold, it's dingy, and the crowd gets after you. And Carolina is 3-11-1 on the road this year, ATS. They're 4-11-1 in ACC play. They've covered 2 games in a row. I'm going to take the home dog here. Give me Florida State plus 2.5 for 1.1 units. All right, so plays for today for us. We are going Lonzo Ball under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -120. Bet that to win a half a unit. Walker Kessler under 13.5 rebounds for the Utah Jazz at -115. Nebraska -1 at home against Michigan for 1.1 units. And Florida State plus 2.5 at home against North Carolina, again for 1.1 units. We're going to bet the same thing we bet on Sunday because we swept it yesterday. Let's see if we can do it again on a Monday. My name's Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt every single morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.